Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. It is Ambrose Blowfield here from the Sales Mastery Company, and I'm back to talk about one of the most important areas of life to manage and master. And specifically, if you're a sales director, sales manager, or business owner, one is critical for you to master. This is something that salespeople, sales managers, and sales directors really struggle with globally. It's something I believe parents and individuals struggle with, and that is, of course, ladies and gentlemen, the art of delegation. And believe me, it is a learnable skill, even though we refer to it as an art. But there are some people that seem to have masterly adapted to this as part of their leadership values. So whether you're a sales manager and director, whether you're a business owner, or indeed a salesperson listening to this right now, I encourage you strongly, please share this topic with as many people as you can within your organization, because it's something that typically everybody struggles with. And I'll talk about those reasons in a moment. This, of course, comes from our Sales Mastery Academy. We train teams around the world on this subject, because if you can't free up your time, you won't be as productive as you need to be. If you've downloaded the workbook, then that's absolutely fantastic. And if you haven't, please send an email to admin@salesmasterycompany.com and ask for the weekly client machine, or ask for the Art of Delegation workbook that you saw on this live. If not, hopefully you access the link already. So aside from the opening cover page and then, of course, a welcome page, let's jump straight into it. Why it is a must. It is not negotiable, this subject. It is a must for sales managers to understand and to potentially develop over time and really create it into an art form. So I want us to be talking about how we're going to delegate, why we're going to delegate, what we're doing it for. So bringing into the definition of delegate, essentially it is the act of entrusting someone else or entrusting another and empowering them to act. So therein lies the biggest single reason why delegation does not happen in organizations who are fast moving, such as sales organizations. And that is, we don't trust and therefore are not willing to entrust. And we don't necessarily want to empower those around us. So what happens? We hold on to everything, doing it ourselves, especially if we're a sales manager who used to be on the tools, so to speak, who used to do selling. And what we do is we roll up our sleeves, we work longer hours, we get frustrated and stressed, we step into the bridge and we do things for others. We step in like an almighty hero, sweeping in and saving the day, to which we end up burnt out and stressed. And likewise, the sales team that you're doing it for look at you thinking, you don't trust me, and you certainly are disempowering me for me acting. Your team is never going to grow until you entrust them, i.e. delegate to them some key tasks. Remember, at the end of the day, people learn best at the edge of their comfort zone. So don't delegate a task to somebody they have no hope of doing, but delegating a task that they haven't yet learned how to master, that maybe was something you didn't know how to do initially, that you learned on the job with good training and coaching and delegation. Maybe it's something they can master, they haven't just mastered yet. Until you give them the opportunity, they'll never do it. It's no different to a fully able child. If they're not given the opportunity and encouragement to learn how to walk, they will never, ever, ever learn how to walk, because at some stage they've got to let go of the chair and start to walk by themselves, even if it's only a couple of steps. You've got to entrust your team. You've got to empower your team. If, however, you're listening to this right now as a business owner or sales manager thinking, no way, my team don't deserve my trust, you recruited them, or you accepted the promotion to lead your team, that's on you way more than it's on them. Maybe you've never tried them. Maybe they've tried and failed 3 times before. Either way, the only way you grow as a business and organization is, instead of you jumping into the trenches, so to speak, is you empower and engage, coach and train your team to step up, even if it's nerve-wracking. So just think for a moment. If there's somebody in your team that deep down you think, I can't delegate them anything, whether that's sales support or a junior salesperson, then again, on you to please own it. When now you own that situation, you can own the outcome as well. You can own the, well, okay, so why don't I trust them? Why don't I want to empower them? And then you've got to start breaking down the, well, is it that they lack confidence? Have they got the wrong mindset? Have they got the wrong attitude? Or more likely, have they got the lack of skills and knowledge, which is what's holding me back from entrusting and empowering them? So please take ownership for it. As people, priorities, and projects, Harvard Business Review talks about this. One of the most difficult transitions for leaders to make is the shift from doing to leading. I just alluded to that before. I find it's even more common, somebody leaving a sales role to becoming a sales manager. It's the most common one where I see people regressing back into their primary role. So their primary role, being the first primary, was typically the doing of selling, which is an externally focused role. rolling up your sleeves, jumping into the trenches and working hard. But when you're a sales manager, your primary role in terms of the priority role for you is actually to develop your team internally so they can take on more responsibilities. I mean, think of it from a moment. If you wanted to go out and double your turnover or your sales in a sales role, you are probably going to have to make massive sacrifices in your personal life, possibly even in your mental and physical health, in order for you to grow your success, your own territory by 100%, a doubling within 12 months. At the same time, the marketplace has to have the capacity to cope with you doubling your market share to achieve that output. But if you're a sales manager of 10 salespeople, all you need to do is to coach and delegate to them an improvement across the board of simply 10%. I guarantee you they'll be able to get 10% growth. The market will sustain 10% growth. It might not sustain a doubling, but it will certainly sustain a 10% per person. And also most people have the capacity and the capabilities to grow a 10% improvement. The same people you didn't entrust before probably didn't have the training from you, internally focused. You didn't set them as your priority. Your priority as a business owner is to develop, motivate, and coach and train all of your team leaders and managers. Your responsibility as a sales director or sales manager is to do the same to your sales team members. That's where your priority needs to lie. That's the project you need to embrace, and they're the people you need to focus on. Likewise, it's important to understand why delegation works. Ultimately, people become more productive themselves the more tasks they take on. Now, a lot of people sit down and go, well, that doesn't make sense. If you give more to somebody, surely they'll do less. That's not true. The more you give to people, the more capacity for them expands. You might have heard the saying, you know what, if you want something done, give it to a busy person. Why? They're already doing a lot. They know how to focus. They know how to be disciplined. They know how to time manage. Give it to a busy person. They probably have the mental capacity to cope. Now, that's not a tip for your personal life, and it's not even a tip for you as a sales manager or director or business owner right now. What I'm saying right now is simply about understanding people have more capacity than you give them credit for. Just because somebody's never done something before does not mean they're beyond hope in ever acquiring those particular skills. Likewise, keep in mind the fact that most of us at 6 months old pretty much have a very limited vocabulary. And if no one around us empowered us and trusted us and coached us and trained us on developing our linguistic skills, we'd probably never learn how to speak more than 1 or 2 monosyllabic words. One research, as it says there at the bottom, showed that 53% of business owners believe they can grow their business by more than 20% if they've just delegated 10% of their workload. And therein lies the other gift. By delegating to others and empowering and trusting others, not only do you help them grow, but you're also giving you the opportunity to have more time to think, to plan, to refocus, to re-strategize, to observe, to tweak, to improve, to analyze and measure, whatever you're going to use that time for. One of the things I find with a lot of sales managers who are inexperienced or poorly trained, or worse still, they themselves are poorly led, is they just think, I've got to work harder, 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 harder. They don't tend to book regular holidays, such as once a quarter. They're not taking regular long weekends off every 2 or 3 months. They haven't got a high quality of life. Why? Because to get to that role, they often worked harder, 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 which in a sales role isn't ideal. It's something we coach in our academy to stop people doing, but it is at least manageable because it only impacts you. Now that you're a manager, it impacts everybody if you're burnt out, if you're stressed, and if your cognitive function is limited because you've got so much in the whirlwind whizzing around your head. If you delegated away 10% of your more monotonous, repetitive tasks, and this isn't about downgrading the people next to you and degrading them by saying, hey, I don't like this job, you do it. It's about you understanding where do you add value. As a general rule of thumb, if you're a sales manager, you will add value in many areas, especially these two. Number one, strategizing and planning the future for your business, for your team, and for your territories. And number two, coaching your team and holding them accountable to implement those strategies. That is the best way you could spend your time. There's other things you need to do. In fact, there's dozens of other things you need to do, but those two need to have enough time. The most common thing people stop doing when they get busy as a sales manager is coaching their team, despite the fact that Wilson Interactive did research on this many years ago and found that you might get an upswing of sales performance by simply coaching your sales team to a superior level. 42% uplift. It's enormous. It's something we train in our Sales Manager Accelerator as well. It's something you've got to understand. Focus on coaching, focus on strategizing. Those are non-negotiable. And if something's getting in the way of that for your time, don't just work harder. Learn to delegate and let go. And if you cannot find something to do, then I recommend leave your phone at the office, switch it off, go for a walk around the block for 5 or 10 minutes every once in a while, just to let the whirlwind calm down in your mind, and then come back refreshed regularly. So you're not stressed, you're not burnt out, and you probably have some time to have some real wisdom thoughts while walking around. In terms of what you're trying to delegate, as is obvious, it's going to be the slow type of work that might involve somebody needing to be totally quiet and focused, because the nature of sales management is you rarely have quiet moments like that. It's the recurring tasks where there could be some rules. You could take some screenshots. You could record a video, so it's easy to delegate and it's repetitive, that someone can slowly build up the skills over time. Remember, you are not born with these gifts you have right now. You develop them over time through coaching and training and experience. Likewise, attending some meetings. Why do you, the sales manager, have to attend every one of the senior management meetings if you're not involved in those discussions? What if you could halve the number of senior management meetings you attended? You'll be twice as concentrated when you do. So if you find there's meetings that you go, oh, I don't like those meetings, they're the ones you should delegate to someone else. Maybe it's a chance for you to step up a new member of your team. And if you believe in abundance and you believe hard work through a growth mindset produces great results, you shouldn't fear developing your team and letting them step up. At the same time, maybe you have a team member in sales attend the marketing meeting every other week. So you attend half of them, someone else attends half of them, and they'll get more empathy and understanding for marketing. That grows your team as well. At the same time, the best thing to do right now is to watch this video, and then today or tomorrow, write down a list of the things you're doing every single week and ask yourself this key question. Am I the best person to do that task? And does it add the most value I do per week? As a general rule of thumb, 20% of what we contribute to our businesses and teams every week has 80% of the impact. There's a lot of things on your list, therefore, in fact, over half probably, that are not within that 80-20 rule. I'm not even asking you to delegate half your tasks. My challenge to you is delegate 10% of your tasks. Just start there. See the impact on your team. See the impact on you moving forward. There are tips, of course, there around the delegation tips, but one comment I want to make here is don't micromanage somebody after that you've given them a job to delegate to, because ultimately that disempowers them straight away and says, I need to watch you because I don't trust you. Remember, delegation is about entrusting and empowering others. So if you delegate a task, once you've role played and shown it, and maybe watch someone else demonstrate they know how to do it, back off, give yourself both some space, and maybe meet at the end of the day or at the end of the week to review progress. But don't jump back in and disturb them. They know you're good at it. They'll be embarrassed and they'll probably show them up. It'll probably cause them to make a mistake. And then guess what? You're going to take the task off them. They'll be disempowered and disenfranchised with you. And likewise, you're not going to progress as a sales manager. So hopefully that addresses one area that is obviously a lot bigger than what I covered off in this short, sharp LinkedIn live or video recording for you. As we said, it's something that's good for you. It's good for the business. Don't avoid it. It is your responsibility. And without it, you won't grow, the business won't grow, and your sales team won't grow. Now you've got to ask yourself two things. Number one, if I've got this nailed, then go away, nail it, and empower other people in your organization. Share your skills and your knowledge in this particular area. The more you grow in this, the more you impact others, the more they grow, the more the business grows. Likewise, if you want to find out a bit more about what we do at the Sales Mastery Company, you're very welcome to actually use the workbook, click on the link and book in for a free 15-minute scale-up call. Right now in 2023, we've also got an amazing masterclass coming up in the middle of March that is ideal for business owners, business managers, sales directors, and sales managers to attend. And it's all about the golden rules of building a sales engine or sales department that is predictable, that is confident, and is likewise robust enough to have predictable outcomes moving forward. How do you create a singing, highlighting sales engine, one that regularly produces great results? So please watch out for that through our social media, through our newsletters. We'll be promoting it. It is free of charge. It's 45 minutes long, and it's a masterclass of how to create an amazing sales engine. So watch out for that in upcoming weeks. Better still, book in for a free 15-minute phone call. Bound to give you great advice on 15 minutes. And as always, take action. Hello there, Ambrose here again to say thank you for watching this video. As always, I want to implore you to take action and to share the lessons you've learned. Meanwhile, something you could do to help us in our mission to help countless and thousands of small to medium family businesses the world over to be more prosperous, be more confident, and have a greater impact in the causes they support. And that is, of course, comment, like, and subscribe to this YouTube channel and to all of our other videos. And as always, be generous and share this with others. Take action today.